It's a sad day for
Morning.
yeah, man. It's a sad day in the wrestling business.
Yeah, it definitely without a doubt, it's a sad day for sure. When we last got on our show last Friday, 3 days ago, um, we didn't see this coming. That's for sure.
No, man. If you haven't been keeping up, if you missed Monday Night Raw last night, if you haven't been on the internet wrestling community, former WWE, WCW, two-time Hall of Famer Scott Hall, better known as Razor Ramon, passed away last night at the age of 63. Man, what a tough pill to swallow, on that one. It's crazy, man. It seems so weird that we're talking about this. He kind of kind of seemed to be getting his life back together after DDP yoga and finally getting back on the right track. We know he's had some health issues, just from being on the road and all the surgeries that he's gone through. But yeah, man, this definitely felt like a shockwave that kind of went through the wrestling community last night.
Yeah, I mean, it's seemingly the news broke out Saturday night into Sunday. Yeah, they had surgery and there were complications that led to 3 heart attacks.
Yeah,
Um, and that he had to be on life support. And so this all this broke out on Sunday, and then basically everything just kind of happened so quick, you know. Um, so basically, we're playing the waiting game here all day Monday, and then we wake up like around 10 a.m. Eastern time and see that Scott Hall has to be put off of life support um, due to complications, and yeah, that was just a very sad time.
yeah.
What was your first initial reactions when you heard about this?
Man, I Scott Hall kind of played a pretty big part in my, and I think in I can say this for everybody in impacting my love for professional wrestling, dude. One of the first DVDs I ever bought as a kid was the Greatest Superstars of the '90s. A 3 disc set with Scott Hall and The Rock, and your standard stars from that age. And one of the first promos I ever remember watching was one of his, kind of doing that, Razor Ramon, Tony Montana style character, and it's crazy to think, now that we're looking back on it, obviously you're remembered more for, when you go versus, when you're here, and it stinks that happened, but the impact that Scott Hall had on the entire wrestling community is undeniable. I really think that I can say this without a shadow of a doubt that had Scott Hall not jumped ship with Kevin Nash over to WCW, we may never have talked about the wrestling boom period, that you got to experience as in the late '90s, with WCW. I didn't get to see that, but obviously, looking back on it, and when I started getting into wrestling was such a popular thing coming off the invasion angle. I really truly believe that wrestling would not be where it is today if it weren't for that moment that changed the history. I mean, if I'm sure you can probably shed some more light on it, but I mean, NWO, Austin 316, that wasn't just a wrestling thing. Like everybody knew in that day and age what those shirts meant. They were such a big part of not only the sport of wrestling, of pro wrestling, but just pop culture in general. And I think that when you look at the legacy that he's left behind and some of the greatest matches of all time, the ladder match with Shawn obviously comes to mind. I mean, that's one of the defining matches, not just ladder matches, one of the defining matches in all of WWE history. And it's crazy. Like I said, it's just so hard to think about the fact that we're looking at this, and he's not here. He's not able to be with the rest of the NWO and the rest of the clique and everything. It's a sad day in the wrestling world, man.
Yeah, without a doubt, it is. We're gonna go more in depth on this on Friday in our next episode, but yeah, it's just interesting how everything went down. So last night he passed somewhere between 7 and 8 p.m.
Yeah,
I would imagine because the news hadn't really fully broke out.
yeah. It seemed like
People were saying R.I.P. before even R.I.P.
yeah, it
But
seemed like it was kind
um,
of out right when
yeah,
Raw started.
yeah, right when Raw started, when that picture image came up, then I knew, and then the news started breaking out from there. Um, but WWE gave him a really good um, tribute on such short notice around the 10 o'clock hour.
Yeah,
I believe it was. You see, um, they did a video package for him. They put one together, and then the fans were chanting for him. The Razor chants, which I thought was very cool. But yeah, Razor Ramon left such a impact on my childhood as a wrestling fan for sure. One of my first instances of watching Razor was one of the early Monday Night Raws in '93 when he put his boy 123 Kid over
yeah,
in the Manhattan Center. And then we see Razor Ramon win the Intercontinental title against Rick Martel. There's some good stuff there, and then you see his program with Shawn Michaels. Coming back with the IC belt, proclaiming that he never lost it, and you got that whole program, WrestleMania 10. And actually, my opinion, I nobody ever talks about the SummerSlam '95,
yeah,
but that was probably, in my opinion, even a better match. But the WrestleMania 10 match was kind of what made history because it was the first of its kind that was on TV. There was another ladder match prior to that years ago. I think it was Bret versus Shawn.
correct.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
but anyhow, so yeah, Scott Hall definitely was a great in-ring worker, awesome storyteller, one of the best in the mid '90s, right up there with Kevin Nash, Shawn, Bret Hart. They were the main guys for a while, um, and yeah, and when he went to WCW, that made shockwaves for sure. With the NWO, he did a lot of good work in his. I wouldn't say he had a very long career, um, but as far as like within WWE and WCW, from '93 to about 2000, 2002 actually when he came back,
yep,
he did a lot of good work. I'm looking forward to diving more into it this week to talk about it more on Friday.
yeah,
But
man.
me as a wrestling fan, as a kid, watching Razor growing up and always being entertained by him, always looking forward to seeing that Razor's Edge, the setup, and then his Razor's Edge finishing move. Always enjoyed watching Razor Ramon. Didn't get a chance to see him live. I saw the faux Razor Ramon at '96 Survivor Series, but we won't talk about that. But I didn't really get a chance to see him live. I can't recall seeing him in the early 2000s either. But I will say, with Scott Hall, been on my TV for years, and
Yeah,
whether you meet a wrestler or not, when you're watching them all the time, they become a part of your experience of
yeah,
watching
yeah,
wrestling. And the Scott Hall always delivered a great experience, especially my childhood. With watching WWE superstars in their early years with Raw. Um, some good times that Scott Hall brought, and Family Man, two kids. Scott Hall's had his challenges throughout the years, and later he got it right as best as he can. Um, but we'll talk more about that on Friday.
yeah, man.
But he had a really good career.
Yeah, and I think as cheesy as it sounds, I've been looking back at a lot of the tributes and that like you said, that video package that WWE kind of put together pretty quickly, and then you say that, oh, maybe they rushed it. No, man, they put together a really really touching tribute, and you could tell last night, right when they were introducing it, Corey Graves. I mean, he's almost in tears, holding back, his emotions for Scott Hall. You can tell that he played such a major role in. I mean, look at it. Damian Priest, he does the Razor's Edge, kind of style move. I mean, Kevin Owens started the show off with the Hey Yo. I mean, this is a guy that's had a lot of impact on a lot of the people, the men and women that we see, wrestling right now. I know he did a lot of work with a lot of the guys and gals in NXT, and was able to help them out with training and all that. And it Kevin Nash said, at best, it's you can't teach somebody to be cool. You can't. It's not something that is teachable. But Scott Hall was cool. I mean, not just Razor Ramon. I mean, Scott Hall was the kind of like the badass, like the guy that you wanted to be. It's the guy that you
Well, he
wanted.
always said he was oozing machismo. He
It was a
was.
machismo.
He had the charisma in the ring. He
But
had that charisma. He
the
had the
whole
it.
every guy wants to be him. Every girl wants to be with him. I mean, that was Scott Hall in the '90s, and I think it's just the indelible legacy that he left behind. I mean, it is going to be seen throughout wrestling forever. And again, I'm sure we'll go into it more on Friday, but I really truly believe that the wrestling world would not be where it is if Scott Hall and Kevin Nash did not jump ship. They had stayed in WWE. We may never be talking about that boom period that got it into that broke the pop culture barrier, I think, and obviously like now we are seeing it with the invention of what was TNA. He had a pretty good career there. I know he was kind of in and out of TNA at the time, and even in AEW, we may never have seen him in it's seen the creation of AEW had it not been for somebody like Scott Hall to really take the wrestling world and just change it completely. I mean that might be a little far fetched, but I really truly believe that moment is what brought everybody, into the wrestling world, into the pop culture, style of everything. It's just really heartbreaking to think that we're sitting here talking about this because it really did seem. I don't know if you've ever seen Macho Man, Jake the Snake's documentary that he did with Diamond Dallas Page, kind of about his transition into DDP yoga, and there's about 25 minutes of the documentary that are kind of dedicated to Scott Hall joining the group and kind of starting to work his life back. And man, it's just such a touching moment. You can tell that so many people, so many, and you see that with the tributes and everything, but so many people were touched and just wanted to help Scott Hall, and he finally got that help. And sadly, I think his health problems and just the life on the road and all that caught up with him. But man, what a character! Razor Ramon is arguably one of the greatest wrestlers of our generation, especially of your generation, but one of the greatest characters I think in all of wrestling.
Oh yeah, undoubtedly, undoubtedly. Like I said, we're gonna delve deeper into it. Like I'm gonna watch some Razor matches, and you know, give you guys. We'll talk a little more wrestling. We'll talk more of the wrestling aspect of it later in the week. I'm gonna look at some matches. See, pick out some of my favorite ones,
Yeah,
and what have you. We'll talk about those, like our like personal top three, so to speak. Um, but yeah, he had a great career. Um, Gone too soon
yeah,
in the fact that um, he was definitely on the upswing for the past couple of years. He cleaned himself up. I'm not too sure if this is a complete shock though. Um, but whenever something like this happens, it's close to you.
yeah,
It hits you close to home.
Yeah.
And there are a couple of people that I know that have that's hitting a little bit more closer to home yesterday and today. We have somebody on here. I think I know who it is. It just says Facebook user, but met Scott Hall a handful of times. Very genuine, down to earth man. There's no doubt I can see that for sure. And then we see that Scott Hall got inducted into the 2014 2020 Hall of Fame.
Yeah, man. As the NWO and as Scott Hall himself, and I'm telling you right now, if you ever need a just a good feel good moment, um, go watch his 2014 Hall of Fame induction. At the end of his speech, he said something that I think kind of always not just in wrestling, but in life. He said something that kind of stuck with me. Hard times don't last. But bad guys always do. Bad times don't last, but bad guys do. And I think that is just the love that he had for the wrestling business and that the wrestling business had back for him is just incredible. And I hope we're getting to see. I hope WWE kind of puts together a full fledged. Give it a few days and be able to put together a full tribute. I'm sure we'll see something on AEW tomorrow because, like I said, I mean, this isn't just a WWE thing. This is the entire wrestling community is feeling this, and it's a really sad day. But like you said, it kind of continues that trend of wrestlers dying too young, man. I mean, it really is sad. We're seeing it with people like Roddy Piper and obviously now Scott Hall, and just not even being able to make it to 65, and it's sad, man. It really is, and like you said, he has a family, two kids. He's a really good family man, and you can see that in a lot of the tributes that Rock and Kevin Nash and Mick Foley all posted. It's a tough day, man. It's a really tough day.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely a tough day for sure. I think what Scott Hall would want most is for us to, carry on,
Yeah,
work hard. Um, you know,
hard work pays off, dreams come true. Bad
that's
guys don't last, or bad times don't last, but bad guys do.
you got it right. You got it right.
I knew I'd remember
It's
it at some point,
true.
man.
So it's a good saying. Well, I don't know what the bad guys always do, but it's
Yeah,
I know what he was getting
that
at.
heelish,
I know what he was getting at
there's good and
when I read
bad.
that line, and it's a good phrase. And if you're a Scott Hall, Razor Ramon fan, uh, definitely take that line to heart as you go on.
Yeah,
Um, feel free to go out and watch some Razor Ramon matches. I'm gonna watch a couple matches today.
yeah. We want to know what your favorites are too.
Um,
We'll be bringing on, like you said, we'll be bringing on top
yeah,
three. You want to add
yeah.
in what yours are, man?
We'll
We love to
definitely
hear it.
we're definitely gonna go down memory lane and go more in depth of what we talked about today for sure. But yeah, just I think he would want his wrestling fans to remember him for all the good things, um, for his speeches and any inspiring things that he's done, and he would want his wrestling fans to go out there and work hard and give your best in whatever you do for sure.
Yeah,
But no doubt about it. That's just the type of man he was, and his career showed it for sure. But well, Tommy, that's pretty much all I got right now.
yeah,
I
man.
mean, me
Just a quick little
personally,
tribute.
yeah. If there's anything else you
Well
want to
deserved.
add in,
Well deserved. Like we both said, his this impact, will be felt for a really really long time. I can't picture a day where Scott Hall's impact is not felt in the wrestling business.
yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, we just wanted to hop on for you guys just for a couple minutes to get our immediate reactions to you all. I would say Friday will our next show will be more Scott Hall heavy
Yeah,
uh, with as we discuss some ideas what we'll do for our next podcast show. We'll definitely be more Scott Hall ready. We'll go more in depth about matches, our first experiences. Um, when we first got introduced to Scott Hall, like one of my first, like I said, was Razor Ramon versus 1-2-3 Kid. Um, but anyhow, we'll discuss all that
Yeah.
on Friday. And we'll let you guys know when that is. But for those of you guys that are watching, thank you so much, for hopping on. Feel free to share this with your friends who watch wrestling, and let them know we're here and that we're
Yeah,
going to
man.
be talking Razor Ramon, hey yo, on Friday. Um, and in the meantime, Tommy, thank you so much for hopping on and
Of course, man.
helping me start this show today.
Yeah.
And for those of you guys that are watching, we will be back this Friday talking some more Razor Ramon, which I believe will be episode 85.
Hey, man. It's a touching tribute that one of our anniversary shows, one of the number fives is Razor Ramon show. So it's perfect, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you all on Friday night. Catch you guys later.